And joining me now is Republican presidential candidate Ted Cruz. Senator Cruz, thanks so much for joining us.
Jake, always good to be with you.
So you got an endorsement from Indiana Governor Mike Pence, and you just recently got an endorsement from the former governor of California, Pete Wilson. Will this be enough to help propel you to a position where Donald Trump does not get that magic number of delegates and you force a contested convention?
Well, it's been a very good week for us. We're seeing Republicans continuing to unite behind our campaign. Obviously, in Indiana, Governor Pence is incredibly well respected, and having his support, I think, is very, very meaningful as voters head into Election Day on Tuesday. Here in California, having Governor Pete Wilson's support is a big, big deal. He is someone who's earned a lot of respect in this state, and it's very meaningful. California is likely to decide this entire battle. And then, of course, earlier this week, announcing my vice presidential nominee of Carly Fiorina. The energy and excitement we've seen from that has been incredible. And our focus, really, we've got to unite the party. If we are divided, we lose. And so we're working to bring the party together. And I think this week was a big manifestation of that.
Senator, as you know, there are those who look at you bringing on Carly Fiorina as your running mate and say that this is a desperation move.
Well, look, that was certainly the attack of Donald Trump, and nobody was surprised to see Donald attacking. You know, he really has four responses to any outside stimulus. He either yells, screams, curses, or insults. And so it's no surprise that he went with insult there. The reality is simple. This is an unusual election, but I think it's important to give the voters a clear contrast, a clear choice. And I think you could not have a clearer choice between Carly and me on the one hand and Donald Trump and Hillary Clinton on the other. And Hillary and Donald, they're flip sides of the same coin. They agree with each other on issue after issue after issue. They're both big government, New York liberals. They're both Washington insiders. Hillary has made millions selling power and influence in Washington, and Trump has made billions buying politicians like Hillary Clinton. I think people are fed up with the bipartisan corruption of Washington that Donald Trump and Hillary Clinton embody, and they want instead a positive, forward-looking, optimistic campaign based on real solutions to the problems people have faced.
Senator, when Carly Fiorina was on this very program back in January, she cast you in that same world. Take a listen.
Ted Cruz is just like any other politician. He says one thing in Manhattan, he says another thing in Iowa, he says whatever he needs to say to get elected, and then he's going to do as he pleases.
I mean, Carly Fiorina just a few weeks ago was saying that you were part of this cartel that you attack.
Well, that was more than a few weeks ago, but sure, look, she was a competitor in this primary. She was a fierce competitor. In a primary, people take shots at each other. That's part of the process. You know, we all remember when Ronald Reagan picked George Herbert Walker Bush as his vice president, and they had to explain why Bush had called Reaganomics voodoo economics. Listen, that happens when you come through a primary and you unite. I can tell you, Carly and I have spent weeks and weeks and weeks together on the road barnstorming the state of Indiana, barnstorming the country. And I have gotten to know and respect Carly. She's an extraordinary leader. You know, she rose from being a secretary all the way to being CEO of the largest technology company in the world, the first female CEO of a Fortune 20 company in history. And I think the contrast, look, in choosing a vice presidential nominee, that may be the most serious and solemn decision any presidential candidate makes. I was looking for someone with knowledge, with judgment, and with the character to step in and be president. And I think the contrast could not be clearer between Carly and me on the one hand and Donald Trump and Hillary Clinton on the other. And the similarities between Donald Trump and Hillary Clinton, you know, they were highlighted this week when John Boehner, as you know, took a shot at me.
That's right. He called you Lucifer in the flesh. Lucifer in the flesh, he called you.
Well, you know, I think Boehner kind of let out his inner Trump, and, you know, he had some colorful imagery there. But it's interesting, when Boehner was attacking me, he praised Hillary Clinton. He thinks she's terrific. And he praised Donald Trump. He said Donald Trump is his friend, is his golfing buddy, his texting buddy. And there's a reason. If you want to see the next president as a John Boehner Republican, then Donald Trump is your man. But if you look at Hillary Clinton and Donald Trump and John Boehner, they're all part of the same corrupt Washington system, where the rich get richer, the powerful and the lobbyists use government power for personal benefit. And Carly and me, on the other hand, our focus is on jobs and economic growth, bringing manufacturing jobs back to America, back to Indiana,
right.
Raising wages for working men and women, and expanding opportunity for young people. People are fed up with Washington. And Donald Trump and Hillary Clinton embody the corrupt Washington system.
One of the other focuses you've had, Senator, is you've been hammering Donald Trump for saying that Caitlyn Jenner and other transgender Americans are free to use whichever restroom they think is most appropriate at Trump Tower. This past week, Caitlyn Jenner actually went to Trump Tower and made a video taking Trump up on his offer. Take a look.
Oh my God, the Trump International Hotel. I love this. Okay, last week, Donald Trump said I could take a pee anywhere in a Trump facility, so I am gonna go take a pee in the ladies' room.
Thank you, Donald. I really appreciate it. And by the way, Ted, nobody got molested.
A little reference to you there, by the way, Ted. Nobody got molested. I want to give you an opportunity to respond to individuals like Caitlyn Jenner, transgender Americans who think your web video and comments on the campaign trail are making them all out to be child molesters.
Well, listen, Jake, in my view, this is not a matter of right or left or Democrat or Republican. This is common sense. It doesn't make sense for grown adult men, strangers, to be alone in a restroom with a little girl. And this is the height of political correctness. And frankly, the concern is not the Caitlyn Jenners of the world. But if the law is such that any man, if he feels like it, can go in a women's restroom and you can't ask him to leave, that opens the door for predators. You know, I've spent a lot of years in law enforcement dealing with child predators who are sick individuals. And that doesn't mean that is the people who are transgendered, but there are predators in the world. And just saying that if you're a man, you can go in the girls' restroom if you feel like it, opens the door for criminals.
But I don't think that's what the law is. The law is about not just like if you or I want to go to it, but you or I don't identify as female. You and I aren't transgender. The law wouldn't be about you and me going to a woman's room.
But the law doesn't specify transgender. It's whatever you feel like at the given moment. And in fact, that was Donald's position. And Jake, importantly, listen, this goes to something much broader. Donald Trump is trying to perpetuate the biggest fraud in the history of electoral politics. He's pretending to be an outsider when he's the ultimate Washington insider. And, you know, his whole shtick is that he tells it like it is. He speaks the truth. And yet he also told us he could be the most politically correct person on earth. This is the height of political correctness for Donald Trump to say, yes, let grown men in the bathroom with little girls. And by the way, his lobbyist campaign manager just a week ago told the top officials at the RNC, Donald is just playing a role. This is all fake. He's pretending. And people are tired of politicians lying to us. You know who I feel the worst for? I feel the worst for Donald's supporters who believe his role, but every day, if he gets closer to the nomination, he starts taking his mask off, and behind the Donald Trump mask is Hillary Clinton. Donald Trump is a liberal, big government Democrat. It is a terrifying image, but there's a reason Donald has given 7 contributions to Hillary. He gave 2 contributions to Hillary's presidential campaign.
Yeah.
Donald and Hillary both support taxpayer funding for Planned Parenthood. They both supported Bill Clinton banning guns nationwide, many of the most popular guns in America. They both think we should be neutral between Israel and the Palestinians. They both have said they would keep in place this Iranian nuclear deal, which is an absolute catastrophe. They both are promising to raise taxes. You know, Donald Trump is campaigning on a 40% tax increase on every consumer, every taxpayer through a massive tariff. That would send us into a recession.
All right, Senator.
And so for Donald's supporters who want someone to stand up to Washington, in making the announcement this week, I wanted the contrast to be crystal clear. Between Carly and me, focused on jobs and freedom and security. Between Hillary Clinton and Donald Trump, focused on big government and taking away your liberties. And we can't get fooled again. And Donald has told us he's lying to us.
Thank you, Senator Ted Cruz. Appreciate it. Good luck in Indiana, sir.
Thank you, Jake.